Chappelle.
My man Dave. What did he do now? Whose toes did he step on?
Every time Dave Chappelle does
you just mentioned his name, you like.
Every time Dave Chappelle does a stand-up, you already know it's going to come on Netflix. So you know that's going to happen.
Yes.
And you already know that it's going to be a group of people going to be mad and upset.
It's going to make somebody upset. But then if you follow him, people that was in his audience, I'm thinking, assuming you paid tickets for somebody that you probably have heard before. It's nothing new to you. This is a new comedian. Let's go check him out.
I'm trying to understand, why would you go see Dave Chappelle and you are you sensitive
and get your feelings hurt and walk out?
Are these people who still haven't gotten the thing about Dave Chappelle?
What's her name? That the white girl that's a comedian, and people have walked out on her show.
Oh, I don't know who you talking about.
Oh gosh, she's famous. Is Wendy on? Is that Emerald? That's Emerald. She's a famous actress, and she played a part.
Oh, she's an actress.
Yeah, and she's comedy too. She was in Ghostbusters with the women. I think the 4 of them.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about, blonde.
I know you talking about.
She's made comments
when you
on
said
certain
Ghostbusters
topics, and people have walked out of her show, and you're thinking, if you know her, she's always
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer. She stepped on toes and made political comments, and people's like, I don't want to come here to hear political stuff. Yeah. No, you're gonna hear it.
You're gonna always hear political stuff with Dave Chappelle.
Yes,
that's what he is. That's what he does.
His last gig, he hurt a group of people.
And this one is, I guess Jewish people are upset with him.
Yeah.
But he's always made fun of Jewish people.
Always.
He was on Saturday Night Live making fun of Jewish people.
He's made fun of Jewish people, Hispanic people,
everybody.
People, LGBTQ, heavy, fat, skinny, ugly.
I told her I told you today when he said in Nutty Professor, when he was cracking on Eddie Murphy being fat as the Nutty Professor. All the fat jokes was flying in. Even though it was a movie, he was waiting to do those fat jokes. So that was even in the movie.
I know.
But that's like me going to his show and him talking about fat people, and I get mad and get up and walk away.
Yes.
And the funny thing about it is, if I did that, he would be like, move that thing out the way so she could get through. If I yelled out, don't talk about fat people.
Dave Chappelle to
me. And then I wanted to storm out. He'll be like, y'all move the tables
so she can get through.
You take with it. You take it with it. And all the fat people will be outside mad that he was doing fat jokes.
He's
stupid.
He reminds me, as far as controversy, like your friend Howard Stern.
Oh, Howard Stern.
You like controversial people.
Yeah, because they ruffle feathers. Yeah. But not morons like Comb Over.
Yeah.
He's controversial, but he's a moron.
Exactly.
I like intelligent people.
But he's not, that's not his
no, he tries to be funny. He tries to be funny.
Every now and then you'll kind of chuckle. Mm-hmm. But Dave Chappelle is a comedian.
Right. So this is what happened on. Let's say hi to everybody. Emerald says, hello, my sisters in Christ.
Emerald.
I love Dave, and there will not be any canceling of him. We're not canceling Dave.
They can't.
You can't cancel
Win
Dave.
The crowd, win your freedom. Where did that come from?
Dave is
Gladiator.
Dave is one of the guys at the barbecue that's on the grill. He's the guy, the uncle or cousin or whatever, with his house shoes on and his
with
socks,
a cigarette in his mouth,
and a beer on the side, and he has the best barbecue. Yeah. And
Uncle Dave.
Yeah, he's Uncle Dave.
Oh man, Uncle Dave. Quit talking about me, Uncle Dave.
That you can't get rid of him. So all this canceling him,
sit yourself down with your big head.
Emerald says, if you are sensitive, don't watch. He would make fun of you and me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
He makes fun of himself.
So who got up and left?
All right, so
did not know how Dave Chappelle
is. So let's talk
My
about
God, what feelings did they? Oh,
so Dave Chappelle spars with audience after comments about Israel and Palestine. Now you know, people are sensitive about.
They've been sensitive.
I don't know why everybody's sensitive about this. What is wrong with being a nice human being? As long as you're not yelling or talking about somebody else.
Or calling out
things that's wrong.
Things you feel is not right.
All right.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle verbally sparred with at least one audience member. See, they said people just walked out.
Yeah, like a big group
and
of
they
crowd.
ended up saying it was like maybe 3 or 4 people. over comments the comedian made about Israeli Hamas conflict while performing in Boston this week, according to multiple somewhat contradictory accounts of the show. Because remember, you can't walk in his show with a camera. They take the camera.
Okay.
So he don't, which is probably, this is the reason why. He doesn't want people filming and then all
whoever knows him, likes
and,
him, is there in that moment.
Yes. According to the paper, Chappelle condemned the October 7 attacks by Hamas before labeling the ongoing military aggression against Gaza as a war crime. As one audience member put it, it was like witnessing a verbal hurricane. People who say they were in the audience have also chimed in on Reddit. One person described attending the show as an absolute mind-blowing experience and noted that the comedian didn't shy away from expressing his thoughts, acknowledging that violence from either side was just plain wrong.
Both sides, not one side.
At some point in the beginning, we got it.
We get the attack.
In the beginning, when Hamas came over and did what they did brutally and all of this, it was horrible.
That's wrong.
And in the beginning, we got Israel coming back and say, "Oh no, we got it." But when does it become a point where you say, "All right, already, what's the plan?
Live the peace that you talk about."
Or what's the plan? Because I'm not seeing any dead bodies of Hamas members. All I'm seeing is kids and women and children.
Yeah.
I want to see piles of soldiers of Hamas.
Yeah.
I want to see a bomb, and then I want to see a stack of guys in military outfits with a sign pointing to them saying, "These are Hamas."
The Hamas members.
Not a bomb, and then the report you killed a commander. And 1,000 other people died because you wanted a commander.
Yeah, war is ugly. We know.
Thank you. And if somebody says it, why are they canceled?
I know. Or even the talk of being canceled because 2-3 people got offended.
So somebody yelled he was saying this. And that's another thing. I'm a comedian. We can get angry and talk about other things too. People think we're just supposed to have a clown nose on all the time.
You know what? You're going to always get back and forth on should comedians talk about political.
It depends on the comedian.
Their stage for political.
It depends on the comedian.
Comments or something.
It depends on the comedian.
They ask that question. Every comedian that comes on The View, how are you taking this new environment now
where you're
canceled? You're scared for what you're going to say. They asked Cedric the Entertainer. He's like, oh, God. It makes their nerves on edge.
All right. Well, somebody yelled out, "Shut the F up," to Dave Chappelle, which changed everything. He went probably from being kind of funny and talking, and then when somebody yelled from the crowd, "Shut the F up,"
Dave Chappelle.
They said he tore into that person
I'm sure
who shouted out and didn't hold back his thoughts about Israel. He said things that others might consider controversial, but that's what made it all the more powerful, one person said.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with somebody, if they're saying something that they believe and that they feel is good, and it's not, to me, derogatory or saying something mean against another group,
right?
Let the person talk about it. If he understands, I think transgenders are ugly,
right?
That's not a nice thing to say, but it's not everybody go out and beat up a transgender. Those are two different things.
Exactly.
Anyway,
go ahead.
He said things that others might consider controversial, but that's what made it the more powerful. He compared the silence around discussing Israel to the inability to speak freely about transgender issues. It was a gut punch of truth and honesty. Those same people, did you walk out when he was talking about transgenders?
Remember, some of them got mad at the listening to it outside of the place.
Mm-hmm.
He was really being clear on the person that he became friends with.
I like when
and
people,
their life, he understood what they dealt with because he became a friend to them.
Yes, I like when people are all the way don't like somebody. I'd rather have somebody say, "I don't like Dave Chappelle. I don't like when he talks about transgenders. I don't like when he talks about white people. I don't like when he talks about the government. I don't like his humor." I'd rather you say that. Then I can say you're consistent. You don't like his humor. It's kind of brass to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that type of humor. I like more clown humor. I like somebody that gets up and falls on the stage and slapstick. He's too political for me. I'd rather have you say that.
But you know
what? But don't come to his show, and because last time he didn't say something about your group, this time he said something about your group and you're mad.
I like him because he doesn't come out and like just dog out.
He gives a story and a background behind it.
He makes you sit and think about.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, you're right, Dave.
Yes.
Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, David.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you.
Okay.
So they basically don't like what he said. It said, further up in the conversation, the second audience member clarified that the person who yelled might not have been directing their aggression at Chappelle. That's what somebody said. He might have been yelling at somebody in the audience. That his friend was the person who yelled, but that he was yelling at a fellow audience member. So it's different conflicting things. Okay. From that, maybe Dave was saying that, and then somebody in the audience said something against Jewish people. And he could have said, shut the F up to that person and not to Dave.
Oh, okay, that's true.
See, because sometimes people take these type of things and they use it as, oh, well, Dave's on my side. He doesn't like Jewish people. No, that's not what Dave is saying.
Right.
So maybe that person was telling that person to shut the F up. See, it's so many contradicting stories. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It said, apparently they left at the point he yelled at them and had returned were being a problem again. The girls were loud and annoying to the point that he couldn't hear what Dave was talking about. That's somebody saying that it was some girls talking and he told them to shut the F
up. Yeah.
So anyway, according to the second person, Chappelle mistakenly thought that he was yelling at him. After discussing the matter with security, the man who yelled said he and his wife were allowed to remain in the show.
Okay.
So that might be the second part.
Because they were probably saying it to someone else.
To shut the F up.
Okay.
And if they're allowed to stay in the show, that means that security said that wasn't today. They was yelling at the other people.
Okay, got it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
The Wall Street Journal reported an audience member's command for the comedian to shut up drew an emotional response from Chappelle, who criticized the Israeli government for cutting off water and other essentials to Gaza. Again, I feel like we need to stay out of it. We need to just pray. I don't want to deal with the cutting of the water off and cutting of the electricity. I don't like it. I feel it's wrong because I feel like the millions of people that live in the city are affected by that. But on the other side, I didn't know that Hamas has all these tunnels. And they use those tunnels to move weaponry. Exactly. And by cutting off the electricity, it almost renders their tunnels unusable.
Oh, okay.
So you got all this stuff going. It's a horrible, horrible situation if you're there. And then they hide in hospitals, Hamas. They hide in people's homes. And they dare, it's almost like they say, I dare you to do this.
Exactly. If you're supposed to be such a peaceful nation, you ain't coming at us to take out all these people.
So that's why I said I get it. I get it on both sides. Right. But you should never be on the side of wishing or glad that innocent people are dying.
Right.
You should never be on that side.
Yeah, as far as wars, we should feel that way even when we were in war. I mean,
so I get it. I understand both sides.
Yeah.
But we don't have to like it. That's the other thing. I can take the medicine, but I don't have to like it. And we could be a little bit more stronger, which is kind of what Dave Chappelle is saying. Instead of handing over billions of dollars, say a little more, Biden. I understand he said that. He said, can you come in another way without hurting so many people?
Exactly.
And you need to put some water and some food in there. Those people got nothing to do with this. I get it.
We need to put a plan together, and we need to know how you're going to make this plan work out.
Yeah.
And we got to be clear. Are you being ruthless?
Yeah.
Are things I'm hearing through the grapevine that you are not a good leader too?
They said that Benjamin is like Trump.
Because
they're far right and they're in Israel. And a lot of the people in Israel, they said don't like him. They want him out of office. Yes. They think he's a nut job. Gee, where have we heard that from?
Just like Trump was when he was our commander-in-chief. You know, majority of our country was not in agreement
and
with
we
Trump.
think he's a nut job.
So that makes you wonder, too, when you got leadership that's bad. And they've had bad leadership in the past. Exactly. We can read the Bible from Genesis to whatever. They've had some bad kings and some good ones.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, a few people walked out, and they started. Some people, the audience, they said started shouting Palestine or whatever, and then they said that made some of the Jewish people uncomfortable, so they left.
Oh.
And then some of the Jewish people said when they got out, was free Palestine, and then they got out in the audience, and they went out. And some of them was outside, and they said that was that's how they felt. Dave Chappelle, when they contacted Dave Chappelle, Dave wrote back, he denies he was even in Boston. That's being funny.
You know what?
And then I even watched people
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Then I watched people on the far left side. Why would he say that? That's not, he was there. We have all the evidence to show he's there. And I'm sitting here going, are you a moron?
He's a comedian.
He's being funny. You see what I'm saying?
Were they people that were in the audience though?
No, these are newscasters.
Oh, then they stupid.
Why would he say that?
Because
he was there.
Funny.
We have audience. We have evidence showing he was there. You're lying. You're not being honest, Dave. And I'm sitting here going, you're a moron.
It's unfortunate that when you make a comment these days, if you really are not being for real and you're just being funny, you got to put the LOL after it.
Obviously, he's being funny.
LOL. Because I do that when I text. If I'm if I'm making a comment that I may feel that person can receive it negative in a different way, I'll put I even do that when I post on your thing sometimes.
Yep, you're right.
I'll put LOL. Aw, she's so funny. Okay.
All right, let's see what Emerald says. Emerald says, yes, Dave is clowning at the barbecue with Cedric. Emerald says, yes, they took our phones when he came to Seattle in the mid-2000s. George Carlin never held back and was mad funny, but with today's climate, they would treat him the same way. I agree. Mm-hmm. And Dave draws you in, then hits you with the pun. People are way too sensitive. Man, I agree.
We're in such a big cancel culture that it's like,
I agree. And if you know that, don't go to a show.
Don't go to them if you think he's going to step on your toe or something.
Yep.
So that kind of built up then. That shut that whatever to somebody else.
Well, we don't know. They
may have stirred up craziness. That
made Dave get more angry. And then he kept talking about it.
And the audience did not have to say free Palestine.
Yeah, what does that have to do with anything?
Nothing to do with a comedy show.
Yeah, free Palestine.
Even though he may be talking about some stuff, come on, you guys. People taking this. They
doing too far. And that's what I'm saying.
And I know I love our freedom of speech. Sometimes freedom of speech is not free. You can get in trouble for some of your speech. And some people may get really upset.
Yeah.
And they start being physical. Now that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't like that. I don't like that.
But
they didn't have to start. They didn't have to start screaming free Palestine.
Thank you.
All
and
right.
we get it. Yes, there are things that need to happen.
Yes.
But don't set that atmosphere with that ugly tone.
Yeah.
No.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead.
Well, look at that. You got both the lawyers in the same picture. You got Sidney Powell back here. And then you got the girl that just did it. Yeah, that just did today.
Okay.
Former Trump campaign lawyer Jenna Ellis pleads guilty in the Georgia case. Now, if you guys don't remember, the Georgia case, he got so many cases. He got another one.
Oh, no, they opened up.
You heard about the new one, right, Mom?